you for allowing me back here. You're, I guess, up for anything, so. That's right. Yes, that's right. So we shall see. But I am grateful, and I appreciate the service, the event, whatever that was last night. Party. But I do have one little correction to make. Sorry. Don went through this list of people to be recognized and acknowledged and appreciated, and in his true self-humility, forgot to name himself. So again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I texted or said to somebody, I forgot who it was, that now that, well, we'll see how it goes, a bit rusty. So hopefully that doesn't get in the way too much. I heard about this monk who was walking down the street and came across the pizza parlor and went in, and he looked up on the wall there, and he said, "Make me one with everything." And then he got his pizza and handed the money and kept standing there. And the proprietor finally said, "What are you waiting for?" The monk said, "For change." And the shopkeeper said, "Sorry, change is an inside job." But that's what we're in the business of. Two things: change. One is real, and then two, the realization of who we are that does not change. But in the meantime, we go through these steps of change, learning and growing and praying and meditating and worshiping and all the things that we do. But our lives unfold. This is what do I need to give a caveat? I always do, which is this is just how I see it. It may not be how it is, but it seems like it's true for me, and I think I'm not unique in this. That our lives unfold in accordance with our true nature, who we are, even stuff, particularly stuff that's unpleasant and that hurts and is difficult and change comes as a result of being with all of that stuff, and for a whole lifetime. Best put on my spectacles here to see what I'm talking about. So that's suffering that we experience, and life is not all suffering. The Buddhists say Buddha said, life is suffering. I haven't experienced it like that. But then I stop and I go, well, as long as I'm struggling to try to realize something more, then I'm saying this is not enough or complete. And so that I go into and what life seemingly brings to me, I come to realize that really that which I am, that for purposes of what we'll discuss today, I'm just calling sustaining purpose. So purpose is not some goal that we set, an aim that we make. As I'm using the term, sustaining purpose, it is that which draws me to itself. That the reality, the truth of who we are, who we have not always or maybe rarely experienced ourselves to be. We experience ourselves to be the body, just as we talked about in the meditation, and our mind, our thoughts, our memories, even more subtle than those, the body, the senses that surveys the world, the thoughts that come up, memories we have, and that I sense, I am experiencing that. I am seeing this. I. There's sort of a name for that. Ego, that I sense, that's separate seeming from each other, from the world around us. Who here has seen their eye sense? Do you know you have an eye sense? Are you aware of it? I mean, you can stop me and say, all day long, you say, I, this, and I'm doing that, and I'm going to do that, I'm thinking this. Or you just feel the realization of this emotion. I am sad, I am happy, I am all of that. You're aware of that. So it is not just self-evidently, it's not the ultimate. Why is that so? Because there is that which is aware of it. There's no thought that you have, no feeling that you have, no sensation, no memory that you have, no sense of I, self, that you have, that is not in your experience. So all of your life, in fact, life itself is nothing but your experience. Can you think of anything in your life that's not been experienced? Say it. So thus life is experience. Who or what has that experience? Well, they would say, well, I do. Oh, that I, that's your separate self? Yeah. But what illuminates that I? Because you are aware that I experienced that, right? So what I'm getting to, we use in Unity and in we use various names for something. We call it the divinity within me. Or in Unity, we use that a lot. I didn't have that in my vocabulary particularly till I got to Unity. I wasn't grown up in that kind of jargon. We have our own jargon, and that's a Unity jargon. I grew up in a more fundamentalist jargon than somebody else in an Orthodox jargon, somebody else maybe in a Buddhist jargon or a Islamic jargon or a Hindu jargon. All of that, we live within our jargon and color our world by that. But it doesn't matter what that jargon is. Doesn't matter. We all have one. Some of us are more adventurous and sort of hop to one jargon to another as an exploration. Some people go visit other continents and other countries. I've liked to visit the various jargons to sort of help to jar me loose from being stuck with a given jargon. But there's one thing that is not subservient to the jargon of any tradition, whether it acknowledges it or not. But all the traditions give some kind of name to it. They call it the Christ, that which is transcendent to whatever is going on. They call it spirit. They call it nirvana. They call it Satchitananda. They call it, just depends on the tradition that's transcendent to, trying to point to that which is transcendent to whatever it is you are experiencing, and talking about that which illuminates that experience. Jesus said in Matthew 5, you are, well, I'll paraphrase slightly. He said, you are that which illuminates the world. You are the light that illuminates the world. Now, when we say it, you're the light of the world, I say, oh, it's kind of a glowing personality, or maybe even it has a spiritual demeanor that kind of lights up. It's a metaphor. No, he wasn't speaking in metaphors there. I don't take everything that's there, literally, but there's some things I take directly that he said, and that's one of them. That he said, you are, it's generally translated, you are the light of the world, but like I say, I'll massage it just a little bit. You are that which illuminates the world. That's not what a light does. Illuminates things. And that light, I'm calling it here, the purpose that sustains me. The purpose that draws me unto itself until I realize I've never been other than that. Have I ever not been the experiencer? But do we often identify as the experience and have it define who we are, our worth, our sense of who is the ultimate reality that I am, and the various traditions, in the jargon of the traditions, like I say, that purpose, that's why I gave it a different name. We're free to do that because they've been doing it for ages, using a different name, and even some, like in the Tao, acknowledge directly, well, you can't name it. If you name it, it's not it. But we can say that that is the underlying reality of who I am, of who you are. The substratum upon which all of this overlaying experiences seems to hide, that we can't get to, yet is actually the only thing that's always ever present. As the old common trite saying goes, you ever been anywhere and not been the one that was there? Everywhere I go, there I am, is what they say. So the beingness of who I am has never not been. And the illumining nature, the self-shining nature of that beingness, When I say self-shining, nothing needs to come along and light it up. It's that by which everything that I know is known. And that is the purpose that is seemingly beckoning me, because we think we're coming from the direction of being a body and being a mind. So we think we're growing, unfolding, attaining something. How is it possible to attain that which you are? And Jesus referred to that by saying, him that has, if those even know me, know that's one of my favorites I return to. You probably repeat it with me. It's done 4 times in the Gospels. There's not many of them many of his sayings that are repeated 4 times in the Gospels, and that's one that has me set up and take notice. He that has, or today's the Women's Day, she that has, more will be given. In other words, and I'll paraphrase there again, the one that realizes what we have is what we are. And the second part of that is, he that or she that has not, even what they think they have, will be taken away. So this kind of exploration or self-inquiry that I'm referring to is one that gives you what you always already had and removes what you never were. What a fraud that is. Well, that's right. We've been living that lie. But that's what self-realization, salvation, every tradition have their own term for it. Nirvana, freedom, moksha, whatever the term that anybody wants to use, is the same. Once we enter into that place that connects all these various traditions and realize there's that perennial wisdom that is reflected and experienced in all these different ways of understanding that I think I am, that I am not, is being drawn toward and dissolved by the purpose I am. Dissolved. It's got names in the various tradition too. That not knowing. It's called sin in sort of a Christian whatever tradition. It's Islamic tradition as well. It's called avidya, not knowing, and Vedantic traditions. It's called just not knowing. It's very, very simple. Once you come to realize your purpose, and we do it in sort of increments by discovering something that works for us. Oh, that rings true. And you follow that for a while. How did that get there? Well, I draw it to myself. Jesus referred to that several times in the Gospels about drawing people unto me. It's what happens in that tradition, and often it's personalized and limited. But the me he's referring to, the capital M me, is the me that is non-separate. There's no other involved in that me, in freedom, in salvation, in moksha, in nirvana, and there is not that this over there that's going to save me from this over here, which is that I'm not, that needs to be saved from. That's kind of hard to follow, isn't it? I can't even repeat it, so that's... But you know what I'm talking about. Because we live lives, I say in some tradition, live life in sin, or we live life in ignorance, or live life in not knowing. And thus, there is that in the core of our being that is beckoning us at all times that I am not, to realize, here I am. In a way, I'm not suffering needlessly, my pain, because it is a divine nudge, a gentle tap, or a giant swack to turn in a different direction. In the Gospels, it's called metanoia, conversion. Turn and become as a little child, Jesus said. Or except ye turn, and metanoia is the Greek word for that. Conversion, which literally means to turn around inside yourself. That's what metanoia means. In other words, to look in a different direction. So the urge, the divine urge, the sustaining purpose is to have us realize that our attention fixated upon that which is insentient. You know what I mean by insentient? Not self-aware, not conscious of itself, has no consciousness of itself, insentient. To that which is sentient, which is my awareness. To turn from that which is changing. Can you name a thing in the world that is not in the process of changing? How about in your body? Have you ever changed your mind? How about once every second or two? From that which is changing to that which is unchanging. The awareness that I have of this wonderful experience, it just pours through me, and this horrible experience that I had, whatever it was. We all have had both. Sometimes we think more than our share of whatever. But that which was aware of the wondrous thing and the horrendous thing, same unchanging awareness, unaffected. Yes, I was. What do you mean unaffected? I was affected. Oh, I? The unchanging nature of your true purpose, your unchanging nature of being who you truly are, the unchanging nature of being. So from turning from external, well, how can I not live in the world? Well, sure. The body's connected to all of that, and we live like that. But as our primary sense of being, we suffer. To realize the unchanging, eternal nature, we can call it the divinity I am, or as Paul said in Colossians 1:27, the mystery that's been hidden in plain sight for ages and generations, but it's now revealed to the saints that Christ in you, the hope of glory. That's by whatever terms people use it, they label it, name it. No tradition has an exclusive club, is an exclusive club. The movement from the factionalization, which is the multiplicity. The purpose I am is drawing me from that multiplicity to the one reality, the oneness I am. That's the substratum. That's another way to think about it. That which underlies all of this that's going on, whatever it is, this wonderful thing, this terrible thing, is an overlay, seeming overlay, experienced as an overlay upon that unchanging, sentient inner reality. When I say inner, it's not inside the body. Even when Paul said, Christ in you where? In the body, in the mind. It's just the paucity of language that inner means non-fixation upon that which is counter to the realization of who I am. And that's in here. So, sustaining purpose. How does it sustain me? Does everybody feel sustained? Everybody that's gotten here right now has been sustained to here. Right up to the point wherever they are. Well, let me tell you my story. Okay, everybody got one. Some has this glorious, wonderful story. Some has a more troubling story. But the sustaining nature of your purpose, a purpose, is one. One purpose, the realization of the truth of your being, the divinity you are. We get sidetracked a little bit sometimes by, in Genesis, God made man on this feminine Sunday in the image and after the likeness. And so we say, oh, well, here's who so God must be a person because I'm certainly a person, a body and a mind, and there we go. So that's how we create that separation. Well, the likeness of who I am with God is this, the infinite nature, not the finite nature. Anybody here have an infinite body? No? Yeah, but it's passing. I promise you. There's no bodies, is that good English? No bodies that's not passing. So, that was sort of the purpose of that meditation earlier. Be like the sky. Don't be the sky. Be like that. It's a simile. Yeah, we use examples. We don't get stuck on them. We just go, oh, that's the way to kind of understand that open reality that is the infinity I am that underlies everything. I'm sort of stuck on, I got a new word. I mean, I've used it before, but substratum, the foundation, that which cannot be moved. I like the old gospel, just like the tree that stands by the water, I shall not be moved. You know, that's, we kind of translate that into, this body, I'm going to still up. No. Who I am, it's not shall not be moved, it's can't be. How can you move that whichever is? So I'll just, as you know me, I could go on, and I'm not going to. But I would like for us to kind of bring it kind of in to a place there and think of how you have been drawn to this place. Yes, here in this room, but to this place that you are now. Everybody has come to. So you come up to here, supposedly, is the ancient indigenous greeting. So you've come up to here. Wherever we are, and we give names to that here. The silence, stillness, spirit, Christ, divinity, soul. Although soul's one of those kind of fuzzy words that people use in different kinds of ways, but whatever that is the reality, that is the purpose of all that I am. And this not something that, okay, let me write that down and have it as an affirmation or something. It just is. Whether you do anything about it or not, you're being drawn unto yourself. Nowhere else. There's nowhere else to go. There's no there up there. Or down there. It's just the reality of being where, call it God, call it Christ, call it Spirit, call it what you might. It's the reality of being. I am. Amen.
Light of God.